Oh, I watched Godzilla X Kong last night, and I needed a full 12 hours to process what I witnessed, so I am doing my review now. And this first portion of this video is going to be spoiler free, and the second portion, which I will prompt you when we get there, is going to entail spoilers. So, for those of you who have not watched it yet, feel free to stick around and listen to my spoiler free impressions. And if you have watched it, feel free to stick around for my spoiler-esque impressions as well. I want to say that the film brings monstrous mayhem, and it absolutely appealed to my inner 12-year-old who just it sometimes that 12-year-old wants nothing more than a full-on movie of nothing but kaiju brawling, and that's exactly what you're going to get with this film. The battles are absolutely epic and phenomenal. The Monsterverse at its zenith when it comes to battles and special effects. And honestly, like, this film brought about a lot of wonder, which I really appreciated. Like, I feel like a lot of the Monsterverse films, like, that's kind of like one thing they really capture is like the wonder of the Titans, and you get to see that very much so in this film, especially when circulating around Godzilla and Kong themselves. I will say that much like the prior MonsterVerse films, this film does suffer when it comes to the human characters and the human storyline. I really do feel like that Gia, who is the character who was introduced as having a close connection to Kong in the prior film, like, she's in this film, and I feel like she's very much the heart of this film. And so I found like many of the more captivating human moments circulating around her. But the truth is, in this film, most of the humans are around either for the convenient exposition or for the kind of like slapstick humor that we are used to in a lot of like large action films we see these days. Some of the humor was great. Other aspects of the humor I found to be a little bit excessive, but I quickly forgot about those things when I was, again thrown into a kaiju battle that was impending. I did kind of feel like the film was rushed quite a bit. It's the pacing is interesting. Like, the first portion of the film felt very slow, but then once like the second and third acts happened, it began to really take off. Which, at that point, I was very much glued to the edge of my seat, and I was like just really engaged with the battles, especially. The music was all right. Like, I think in the grand scheme of things, like, the musical score was very much lacking, especially when we have like the iconic Bear McCreary score from Godzilla King of the Monsters still in the back of our minds. I will also say that I think the plot has like certain flaws, but my inner soul wants to forgive those flaws because of just how much fun I had. Like, I think what felt great about this film is that it was fun. Like, getting to see Godzilla and Kong brawl with all sorts of different things just felt really charging, and very much that dream childhood film that I always wanted to experience with like all the battles. So I will say that those are my spoiler-free impressions. Now we're going to get on to actually doing the spoilers. So if you are not here for spoilers, you might want to click away at this point. However, if you have watched the film and you would like to listen to my spoiler-esque impressions, feel free to stick around. So, obviously, the kaiju fights are absolutely epic. I'm going to be completely blunt. I found all of the battles to be really good. Some of them are kind of cut short, especially Godzilla's battles with various titans, like early on in the film. Those were like extremely short. However, I will say one of the best battles in the entire Monsterverse takes place kind of like at the midway point of the film, and that's the point in the film where Kong comes to the surface to get Godzilla to be like, hey, I need you to come to the Hollow Earth and help me fight this, dictatorial, fellow primate kaiju, please. And of course, Godzilla's pissed. Godzilla's not having it, and they basically brawl in Cairo around the pyramids, and it's just this phenomenal spectacle. And at a certain point, I mean, of course, Mothra comes at this point in the film and like knocks Godzilla on his ass, and she's kind of like the catalyst to kind of bring everybody together. Which, of course, that made me very happy as a very shameless Mothra fan. However, I digress. I will talk about that later. That battle was a phenomenal battle. The final battle, kind of like toward the end of the film, was broken into two segments, one on the Hollow Earth and then the rest in Rio de Janeiro, between Godzilla and Kong, Mothra, Suko, Scar King, and Shimo. Like, phenomenal battle sequences. So good. Although I kind of felt like it was rushed because it was just very much at the end of the film. And we had so much build up that like it felt like it flew by like a blink of an eye. So uh so let me talk about the specific characters. I was very, I mean, I was kind of let down that Godzilla wasn't in the film more, but honestly, this kind of like the prior film very much felt like a developmental story for Kong, which I totally get. I just Kong doesn't hit me like the other kaiju do. Although I will say that I did feel a little bit more empathetically connected to Kong in this, which I did appreciate. I'm gonna be completely honest. You know what I'm gonna say. You know who stole the movie for me. Mothra stole the movie for me. They really kept her under wraps. They really kept her quiet. And the truth is, when she finally makes her appearance, it's absolutely epic. And she very much becomes like this catalyst between not only humanity, but also Godzilla and Kong. And she very much brings everyone together. I really felt like this was very, like, her role in this film was very much a nod to her role in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster in the Showa era, because like it's her voice of reason that's like that gets Godzilla to calm down and be like, okay, hey, we need to work together and we need to stop this, dictatorial Scar King dude from taking Ice Queen Shimo and using her to destroy the entire world via an ice age, right? But so like her moments, like she's not in the film a lot, although I will say she's in the film more than in Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is always a plus, but her moments were epic, like absolutely epic. She was kicking ass, and I like it took every fiber of my being in that theater to not jump up and be like, my queen, like anyway. So Scar King was terrifying, very much the antithesis to Kong, which was very interesting, a very brutal, very just very such a cruel character, and I ultimately think that he was a pretty good villain. I found at first when they announced him, I was like, oh, okay, but very interesting villain. I'm totally okay with him being the primary villain of this film. Shimo, poor old Granny Shimo. She was so cute to me. Like, Shima was adorable. I wanted to see her more, honestly. And she was kind of scary at times, but also she just seemed like she gave off this giant ice lizard puppy dog vibe. And I felt so bad for her because she was being manipulated and controlled by Scar King. And it was just wonderful getting kind of like some redemption at a certain point in the film, too. But Suko was kind of forgettable for me, but he was cute in an enduring way. And I think that Suko was very much used to kind of humanize Kong. But like Suko like had pretty good moments as well. But again, like I will say in the grand scheme of things, like the film suffered regarding the human component because like just I mean the humans really just lacked luster, and I felt like we were taken to so many different locations and areas throughout the planet, whether you're on the exterior or an interior, where it kind of got a little bit difficult to follow linear wise. However, I will say that the sheer enjoyment of the kaiju battles saved that for me. Additionally, I think that this film excelled in world building. We we did not get a lot of world building throughout the MonsterVerse until like maybe Godzilla versus like Godzilla versus Kong, and this film really kind of creates the mythos for the Hollow Earth. We get to learn more about like Godzilla's role on the surface, Kong's role as the guardian of humanity, Mothra's role as guardian of the Hollow Earth. Like, I really think that, again, I'm gonna say I really think that they took Mothra and, in a very simple and subtle way, gave a nod to her history as a guardian, but also gave her a distinct role in this universe beyond just having this symbiotic relationship with Godzilla. That symbiotic relationship matters in this film, but I will honestly say that I think that there is the potential open for Mothra to come back or even have a solo film, which I would absolutely be here for. I like sign me up for a Mothra solo film, Legendary. It needs to happen. Legendary, if you don't do it, Toho, where are you at? Mothra. We've been waiting for a Mothra film for how long? So, in the grand scheme of things, loved Godzilla X Kong. Is it the best Godzilla movie? No. But it in the concept and the aspect of battling, phenomenal. And it's one of my favorite depictions of Mothra. So I will say that I give this film a B plus. I think that all of the kaiju characters were developed well. They stole the show. Their motivations were clear. And honestly, like, that aspect of it for me salvaged some of the human and plot point aspects, which I found to be a little bit confusing at times. So, but anyway, share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I'm probably going to be doing particular videos where I talk about like specific aspects of the film and characters in oncoming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye.